There's a common conception that every area of the business HubSpot only serves as marketing. There's a lot of different use cases for HubSpot reporting, and I just want to show you how you can use that. I also want you to take away the actual readily available options that you can start rolling out today in your HubSpot accounts. I want to show you some core KPIs that I commonly look for across my clients and customers that you can take away and start benchmarking your success against. And I want you to come away with some questions to start asking yourself in order to maximize your reporting and how you can get more from it. So, like I said, a big part of my job is reporting. And within that, I've been reporting to a lot of different people, from directors and business owners to head of departments and CMOs to account managers and marketing managers, all the way to sales. And I'm going to be honest with you, they all want different things. And if you don't have reporting set up to do this, it just leads to one big headache. Common questions that I get asked: are we profitable? Where are we most productive? Where do our efficiencies lie? Where is the majority of our traffic coming from? What are our best selling products? Now, that's just to name a few. You can imagine the amount of questions that you get day 1 to day 10. Like, if I spent here answering all these different questions for manual reports, I wouldn't get to do anything else other than reporting. So naturally, what that meant is I struggled to get it right. Everybody has different needs. Everybody has different requirements. Everybody has different ways of reporting. And there was a very long time in my account management where I was struggling to find a system that could really do it all. And it did become exhausting and manual. I was making mistakes. Like I said, my reporting was not consistent. It wasn't as frequent. Systems didn't align with the data and the metrics. So how did I overcome it? Again, that's what you're going to leave with today. So, into HubSpot reporting. So there's been some recent change to HubSpot reporting. As of the 19th of May this year, reporting's got a whole lot better for HubSpot. There's been some increases across the entire plans and the ranges in terms of how many dashboards you can have in your account. If you're on Enterprise, where you could normally have 25 dashboards, it's now gone up to 50, so that's doubled. If you're on Marketing Professional, where you could have had 5 dashboards, you can have 25. Where if you was on Starter on HubSpot, where you had 3, you can now have 10, and more so, if you actually owned the reporting add-on prior to the change, you go from 200 dashboards to 300. And within that, you also get custom reports as well, which is just customized metrics that bring in data that aren't otherwise standardized by HubSpot. So you're combining different fields and data that you get. And there's been some vast increases on that, such as Professional going from 20 to 100, and from the actual add-on itself going from 2,000 to 3,000. Now, there was a very important update that came out with that in a note, which is depending on your subscription. So for example, if you're on Sales Professional and you're on Marketing Enterprise, you will get the highest plan worth of reporting. So if you're on Marketing Enterprise, but you have Sales Professional, you'll get the enterprise level of reporting, which will be added to your account. Again, I'll include all this, it's all in the deck, so you can have a look at the actual full release by HubSpot. You probably explain it a lot better than what I can. So again, there's a lot of flexibility with HubSpot reporting. There's a lot more you can do as of the 19th of May this year. So now that's out of the way, I kind of wanted to go through a couple of reporting myths and objections that I commonly face so I can make this deck really real for you guys so you can come away and actually have some actionable takeaways. So the first question I often get asked is, I don't have the time to set up reports. I don't have the time to learn HubSpot. It typically comes from the director or the business owner. In terms of what I go back for, well, there's a lot of dashboard templates within HubSpot. HubSpot has over 10 different dashboard templates that you can actually roll out within seconds. They contain over 4 different widgets within each dashboard. So that could be anything from website growth to sales attribution to core KPIs. And you can actually roll this out. It covers sales, marketing, service. So customer service teams, sales teams, marketing teams, whatever the core denominator is in your business, you can roll out a dashboard for each in a couple of seconds. Again, if the templates aren't quite cutting it, what actually happens now in your HubSpot account is you get given a blank dashboard. You can then customize your dashboard if you wanted to create a blend. So if you wanted to have some sales metrics on there, if you wanted to have some marketing metrics on there, these are all accessible within the report library in HubSpot. There's over 150 different reports you can choose from, covering anything from, like I said, website sessions to sales team performance to NPS to actually website bounce rate. You can create a dashboard that's really meaningful for you with very little effort involved. So again, any business owners or directors that are looking to actually combine the reports to make it actionable across the entire business, the report library and the dashboards are there for you. The second objection that I commonly get asked is HubSpot is a marketing tool. It won't really show me what I need to see. Well, the report library has pretty much everything to serve every different area. So within the actual report library, there's different reports. There's standard reports, and there's also custom reports that you can create. On the marketing side, people often say, are people even visiting my website? Well, yeah, there's actually a funnel report that you can add in there from sessions that drills down into the new contacts created, and then how many customers that came from that. A very quick marketing funnel that you can just roll out within seconds to know how your marketing activities are drilling down to sales. More importantly, in terms of the handoff from marketing to sales, you can even put a report on who the actual effective sales reps are, who's been the most productive, and what their activities are best, what their time is being best spent on. Whether who's spending the most meetings, who's spending the most time on calls, who's spending the most time actually prospecting. You can create a report that you can just roll out naturally from HubSpot's report library that tells you that, so you know what sales team, what account needs to go to what sales rep has experience in certain industries. You get this kind of granularity with the HubSpot standard reports. Now, for anybody that's out there that's got a customer service team or is in e-commerce, there's some custom reports you can really set up as well. Depending on the data you get back from your HubSpot account, whether it's via forms, via imports, or just naturally add into the system anyway, you can create custom reports. Now, a custom report is combining different fields together to create a metric or a visualization that means a lot more that HubSpot wouldn't otherwise be able to provide. So for example, on the left, where I've done for customer service team, we naturally gave data via form fills and imports based on the products people were buying. With this data now in HubSpot, we could actually create a custom report that drills down the different revenue by the different products and the sector. So we could actually look at how much revenue have we made this year from event materials? How much revenue have we made from actually exhibitions? And what we can use from that is the customer service team then knew what products we're selling and what we needed to push, what we needed to get rid of excess stock, and how we could actually liaise our marketing efforts with that to show the real value of HubSpot with that granularity. And then even to director level, you can create custom reports that cover that in terms of where's our best placed department, who's making the most revenue versus the actual forecast at the start of the year. Just by having teams in HubSpot, you can report on that granularity as well. So again, where can you invest more? Where can you inform business decisions? HubSpot allows you to do that with custom reports and standard reports alike. Objection number 3 that I commonly get asked, we don't use all of HubSpot. These reports are going to be meaningless. Well, there's actually tons and tons of integrations. So HubSpot has a built-in ecosystem where there's over hundreds of different freemium apps and paid apps to actually give you more data, more metrics to actually build reports with. Whether you're a sales team using Salesforce, whether you're doing your email marketing via MailChimp, or if you're just doing customer services via anything from, like I said, SurveyMonkey, or doing website reports on Hotjar. All these are readily available integrations. Some of the common ones that I come across in my role here at Digital 22 is Salesforce, Zapier, Outlook and Gmail, Slack, SurveyMonkey, Hotjar. Again, these will bring in 10, 20, 30 different metrics outside of what's available in HubSpot that you can then create reports from. So even if you've got a different software stack, you can still find value in HubSpot reporting. Objection number 4 is these reports, they're a bit too simple and tentative. We need to customize the data. Well, like I said, I've keep mentioning this earlier in the deck, but you've got custom reports there. Custom reports can seem quite daunting, but essentially all it is just pulling different fields together and putting them against each other to create a new metric. It's very straightforward. You can create it in the actual report library. There's a button to create custom reports, and you can actually build reports from the data you actively gather. So every business is different. HubSpot allows you to be flexible like that, whether it is collecting industry, whether it's collecting budget, whether it's collecting actual sector. If you are collecting this information and it's standardized in a reporting format, you can pull this into a metric. And as long as there's a process, whether it's an import or there's forms that are getting created with asking for this information, this will inform your dashboards, meaning there's no manual input on your side when it comes to reporting, which I'm sure that everybody can appreciate. So you really have made it this far, and that's exactly how I do it in terms of time and time again. So here's some common questions that I want and tips that I want you guys to take away from today in terms of, that was the build aspect, but there's a step before that in terms of how can I get the data that I need? What questions should I be asking to make these reports really meaningful? Because I'm sure that some of you people out there are actually creating reports for other people. So it's my tip number 1 is spend time defining them expectations. It might be an hour, it may be a day, it may be a week in terms of asking these questions to get the answers back that you need. But outlining the expectations in terms of what metrics and KPIs do you want to actually report on and what mean the most to you? How often do you require a report? What does success look like to you? And more importantly, what do you not need to see? That fourth question is something that commonly doesn't get asked because it's not seen relevant, but actually outlining and knowing in black and white what's required from day one allows you to create the most meaningful dashboard. And again, because these questions are not really commonly asked, people are more than willing to answer them when they actually hear them. My second top tip is just automate, and if you can, automate it just a bit more. In terms of what you can do with these dashboards, once you've got it to where you want it to be with custom reports, standard reports, pretty much anything really, you can actually schedule these dashboards to be delivered automatically to specific email addresses. You can customize the email message that comes with it if it's a weekly or if it's a monthly pulse report. You can then actually format it so it attaches a PDF or a CSV file, so it can actually be exported if you want to manipulate that data in any other ways to give to the teams if they want to use it for prospecting or they just want a spreadsheet version because they're more comfortable. As you can see, you've got tons of options in there in terms of when you look at your dashboard, you can actually manage the recurring event that comes on the back of that. And this is my most important tip that I want you guys to be aware of, is data is only as good as what you put in. So if you are starting a HubSpot portal or you're just looking to revamp your current one, please evaluate what you're asking for on your forms already. Look what data you're currently working with and look at what you're missing in terms of what are we collecting from marketing? What are we collecting from sales? What are we collecting from the service side of our businesses? Is all this coming into HubSpot? If not, do we need it? And can we automate that and get that into a process? The more data you have that comes into a standardized format and is recurring means that you can create really actionable reports in HubSpot that eliminates all that manual entry later down the road. And like I said, another tip just on the back of that, when you actually have these fields in HubSpot, you can select what's required when people are importing or creating contacts or deals into the system. A really good tip if you've got large sales teams rather than sitting with each individual rep. And this will essentially mean that every single time they're putting in the data you need for marketing or sales or just to drive business decisions. And that's pretty much it. So that's basically me here at Digital 22, some of the objections I've faced, some of the mistakes I've made, and more importantly, how to get the most out of HubSpot reporting and essentially how to get the figures your boss needs.